Hi everyone, the name is Eric Dorn. In today's video we're talking forest for thought and how to reconnect with the wild. And okay, the reason why I make this video is because I see so many people have lost touch with their wild side. Lost touch with their own aggression, with their own drive, with their own passion, with their own energy. Because, of course, you can burn yourself on your own fire and other people can burn themselves on it too, right? And so I think there's an effort from civilization to civilize us and to make us more predictable and more controllable and more malleable, right? And so we're taught from an early age, to let go of that childish enthusiasm and energy and the desire to move and the desire to experience and explore and talk and connect and, engage with the outer world, right? And we want then to teach people to be safe, to be predictable, to be linear, to be basically to not do anything bad, right? And the reasons for this are logical. We hope that, and we have seen that humans have been capable of many atrocities in the past and a lot of violence and a lot of bad things, right? And so we can look at, the progression of a wolf to a dog. We can say that, wolves used to be aggressive and primal, right? Well, they still are. But, through the process of evolution, we've created dogs that are incredibly sweet and incredibly kind and incredibly good with kids and all those things, right? And that's a good thing, right? That's something we can feel very happy about and something that, makes very easy to engage with and to tame and to have relationships with these kinds of animals, right? And the same goes really for how we treat and look at ourselves, because the main achievement of humans were not the ability to tame other animals, it was the ability to tame ourselves, right? So we've consistently worked to domesticate ourselves and to make ourselves more tame. And so our teeth have gotten less sharp. And so, we've lost our claws. And so we've lost a lot of our edge. And what I want to talk about in this video is why it's a good thing to have passion, why it's a good thing to be wild, why aggression is a good thing, and why we shouldn't be too afraid of it, right? Now, what I argue for is controlled passion, right? And so what I see is what we need is fire. We need to have fire, right? We need to maintain fire. We need to maintain energy and put passion and enthusiasm, because without it, we lose all the things that make us want and all the things that make us want to get out of bed in the morning, right? Because if we consistently eradicate the urge inside people to experience life, the lust, the passion, the drive inside people, we create automatons that lack the capacity for critical thinking, lack the capacity to express themselves, lack the capacity to speak out, lack the capacity to go for what they want, and lack the capacity to set goals and all those things, right? And so we're creating a civilization of autopilot, right? Where everyone's just following and mimicking off everyone else, and everyone's looking to everyone else, and everyone's asking who's the driver and why is society so terrible? Oh yeah, it's because nobody's doing anything, and it's because everyone is too worried about what everyone else is thinking, right? And so how do you rekindle the fire and how do you get back the drive if you lost it, right? Well, one thing that I think is so important is to stop this desire for suppression, right? So suppression is not control. Like when you tell yourself, stop having emotions, stop having anger, stop being upset, stop crying, stop doing these things, right? What you're engaging in, what you're telling your kids is suppress, right? Hold back, stop having, don't feel, don't care, don't feel in any way, right? And what we have to do is we have to nurture and support ourselves and other people around us in expressing their freedom and in who they are. And so when your kid questions your authority or asks you questions or speaks out for what they want, you could take that as proof that they're a bad kid, right? Oh my God, he's so difficult and he has such a strong will and he's so passionate and he's so stubborn, right? And you could say and wish that you had a kid that was more quiet, civilized, polite, and all those things, right? But here you're ignoring statistics, because it turns out the kids that are the most difficult tend to become the most successful. And so kids that consistently are allowed to express their opinion and feelings and allowed to cry or get upset or to be and to show a high level of enthusiasm for something, these kids are going to become much more successful adults, because it turns out we don't want kids to stay kids forever. So if a person is still in this phase of being polite and civil in their 30s or 40s, we're going to have a person that's going to be sitting in the back seat of the car for the rest of their life, right? So this kind of a person is going to consistently, look for other people for guidance. They're constantly going to call you for help whenever they need it. They're constantly going to ask for your opinions. They're constantly going to try to mimic whatever it is that you do. And they're never going to be able to think for themselves and to make their own choices. And what is it that most employers want from their employees? Well, they want people that can think for themselves, people that need little guidance and supervision, people that are resourceful, independent. Okay, at least most employers want this, not everyone, but most of them do want this, right? Because it's exhausting to take care of and to be a parent of somebody else. It's exhausting to constantly have to tell somebody else what to do. Exhausting to have somebody constantly compare themselves to you. Exhausting to have people constantly trying to be you or live your life. And, they have their own life and their own path to find and their own things to figure out, right? And so while I love modern civilization, all the fascinating things that we've created, what I love even more is if we can rewild our society a little bit and help people rekindle that inner flame and get back to the wild a little bit. And so what I'm encouraging for everyone is to go out to the forest, go out in nature, go out and connect with your own body, go and become more mindful of your emotions and your feelings and what it is that you have inside of you, and go out and pursue what it is that you're passionate about, even if you're scared, right? And so instead of letting fear and the desire for comfort and the desire for security control you, consistently push yourself to do scary things that get you out of your comfort zone and get you into the life that you want to live. And so you have to learn that, you're going to have to learn that you have a power inside of you and that flame has not gone out and it's still there, and that you've just forgotten about it. You've just pushed it away for such a long time. You've just gotten so good at holding back all these feelings and of shutting down your inner voice and not allowing yourself to speak out and not allowing yourself to let that inner wild loose. And here what I speak for is controlled passion, right? Directed fire. And so what I think is the most impressive thing ever is if a person is capable of high levels of aggression and confidence and fire and passion, but also of high levels of restraint. And if a person is capable of channeling that energy in the right directions, in the right way, that's what's really impressive to me, right? So a person that is just screaming out and emotions and upset and fear and all those things, right? That person is certainly letting go of and expressing their inner chaos, but at the same time, a person that's able to have all these feelings inside and have all this fire, but is able to use it for the right purposes and from the right situations and in the right way, these kinds of people are the ones that are extremely impressive to me, because that takes an immense amount of focus and discipline and fortitude and personal growth, right? And so we see people on both ends. We see the problem kids that are always stirring up attention and drama and screaming out and doing stupid things. And we see the passive automatons that simply sit still and look at you in class and have no opinions or thoughts that are their own, right? And so what we're looking for is a person that can go the distance above that, right? The person that has all that wildness and all that fire of that problem child, but also all that discipline and all that control and all that focus. And so what I'm speaking for is civilized wildness. And we need to think about how we can facilitate civilized wildness and how we can allow people to be emotional, irrational and chaotic beings while also encouraging them towards discipline and focus and control. But now the bigger question is, how do we do that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching and see you all in the next video.